This is Beverly. Today we're going to look at the Scandinavian Cross. The Scandinavians have a history of creating Christmas ornaments out of paper and straw. This particular video is going to explain how I create the Scandinavian Cross. You can make these crosses in several different sizes. The one I'll be making today is a medium size, and it measures approximately 16 inches from top to bottom. These crosses are created in the same way as the Scandinavian star, but there are a few differences, which I will demonstrate here. This video will not be as detailed as the Scandinavian star video. So, if you're not familiar with how to weave the star, I recommend you view it first to see how it is woven. That being said, let's get started. The construction of the star requires it to be made in two halves. The cross, on the other hand, only requires the one assembly. You will need the same materials and tools identified when making the star. Flat fiber, that's 1/2 inch white flat fiber, ruler, masking tape, clips, spoke weight. This is the packing tool that you'll use in order to flatten out your fiber, pair of shears, a clothespin to be used as a spacer, glue, toothpicks, and a sponge. Just as in weaving the star, I have laid out a template to guide my weaving. This graphic is different from the one I used for the star, and if you'd like a copy of it, just send me an email. It identifies 3 different sizes for the center of the star: green, red, blue. We're going to be using the red one, which is 2.5 inches. I then will take from the center, lay out pieces of masking tape to give me the outside borders for my spokes. These are 6.5 inches for the short spokes, both one vertically and one horizontally. Then I will be laying out another piece of masking tape at the bottom to give me the boundary at 13.5 inches for the longer spokes. And I'll do the same by measuring 13.5 inches out to the left and placing a piece of masking tape for the longer spokes. If you would like, you could also place pieces of masking tape at the bottom and the left for your short spokes at 6.5 inches from center. We'll be using 1/2 inch white flat fiber. Make sure that you flatten them out, they'll be easier to work with. We require 8 total spokes. The 4 short ones are 13 inches, and the 4 long ones are 18 inches. I'm going to begin by taking 2 of the 13-inch spokes, lining them up with the red square, and making sure that they're even with the masking tape at the top and the bottom. I'm then going to take 2 of the longer spokes, which will complete the vertical portion of our center. Once I've laid the 4 verticals in place, making sure that they're lined up at the top and the bottom, make sure that they're even, I'll space them out in the red square. I then place a spoke weight to hold them in place. I can now begin weaving my horizontals. I'm going to pick up a long spoke and I'm going to weave it in the normal basket weaving fashion, under, over, and get it positioned at the bottom of the red square. And I make sure that it is lined up with the masking tape on your right and on your left. Orient it at the bottom of the red box. I pick up another long spoke, do the same in a regular basket weave pattern, making sure that it's lined up and adjusting the spokes. I now pick up a short one, again weaving it in and lining it up. And then the last one, making sure that everything is within the red square. You've now completed weaving the center. I'm making sure everything is even. Both top, bottom, and sides. We're now going to clip and glue the corners just like we did in the star. The main difference between this cross and the star are the using two different lengths of spokes and the arrangement of them. Once I put the clips in place, I'm then going to glue the corners, replacing the clips as I go along. While the corners are drying, I can now remove the graphic. I no longer need it for weaving, and I can also remove the masking tape. Once dry, I'm going to lay the assembly on my work table with the long spokes facing down. You're going to have the short spokes at the top and on the two sides. We're now going to begin to weave the 3 points of the cross using the shorter of the spokes. We'll be doing this in the same manner that we did on the star. We're going to start with picking up the spokes on the right and the left, laying the left on top of the right, leaving out a tab to apply the glue, laying them in place, squaring the corners, and put a clip in place to hold it. Continue to do this on the 3 points of the star, but do not weave the longer spokes at this time. Once you've completed these, we're now ready to weave the longer spokes. Turn the assembly so that the longer spokes are facing upward. And then you want to turn over your entire assembly. We are going to weave these spokes from the other direction. We're going to pick them up, rotate our wrists, and this time we're going to glue still the left one over the right, but we're going to do that at an angle in order to give it a point. Apply your glue and place it at an angle and apply your clip to hold it in place. Using your spacer clothespin, put it in place to where it's parallel with the first spoke that you wove. You're now going to take and weave the left side, just like we did in the star, and glue it right next to that spacer. Again, we're going to have that angle and keep it parallel to the first weaver that we placed, putting a clip to hold it. Move the spacer to the other side. Pick up that last spoke. Weave it over and under, sticking out about an inch. Place some glue on it. And clip it at the same angle, putting a clip on it to hold it in place. Readjust so you see that little diamond is equal right there in the front. Readjusting them while they're wet. Take the clip that we had in the corner and put it right at that juncture. And we're going to let that dry for about 10 to 15 minutes. Once the cross is thoroughly dried, we're going to remove all of the clips. At the bottom, after we remove those clips, we'll trim off the excess. And you've now completed your Scandinavian cross. This is the 1/2 inch flat fiber with a regular basket weave center. For those of you that are more advanced, you can reduce the size of your weavers to 3/8 of an inch, add 2 more on each end to do a 2-2 twill, which will also give you more detail on your points. This graphic actually shows 3 different sizes of Scandinavian crosses, the lengths of their spokes, and the size of the material. It also gives you sources of flat fiber. Again, if you would like a copy of these graphics, please feel free to send me an email.